Almost every single person on planet Earth is at point A and they have somewhere they want to get to, which is point B. In any industry, any field, any age, I'm of the firm belief every single person has that in mind. And it always changes from time to time, depending on what stage in life you're at. Again, whether you're younger, you're in your early career, you're in school, you've been in a career for many years, whatever it is, I think everyone has a point A and a point B. And some people are really passionate about getting to point B. And when you have a real desire to get there, there's almost, at least for most of us, there's almost nothing you wouldn't do to get there. Maybe an athlete really wants to become a professional athlete. And so they realize at a younger age, they need to train as hard as they can. They need to learn as much as they can. They need to become the best player they can to give themselves the best chance to cross that bridge, to get to point B, to get to the college level and then the pro level and beyond, maybe major league level. And one of the hardest things to do to go from point A to point B is by doing it all by yourself. And one of the, I won't say easiest, but one of the ways to give yourself the best odds to cross the bridge is by applying two major things into your system. And that's number one, having a coach, and number two, having the right program. And so, modeling proven practices. If I can go to someone, again, this is in sports, this is in life, this is in business, this is in anything. If I can go to somebody who's done something or has been at point B before, right? I'm at point A, I'm trying to get to point B, and if there's other people who have also been at point B, and by the way, there's always somebody who's been at point B of where you're trying to get to. I promise you that. There's not a single thing that you can mention, and put it down in the comments if you think there is. I'd be very curious to see. But there's not a single place or destination you're trying to get to where at least somebody else, hasn't already been there or achieved it. And so if you go find a coach, a mentor, a instructor, a teacher, right? If you find somebody who's been there, that is going to be one of the fastest ways to get there, to go from point A to point B. Because there's so much you can learn, right? You can learn all the lessons with less of the scars. Okay, all the lessons with less of the scars, meaning that you don't have to make the same mistakes over and over again or the same failures over and over again that they did to get there when they tried it on their own for the first time. And most people, in my opinion, that have got there did learn from somebody else above them. There's just this chain of learning. This person learned from that guy learned from this guy, and it goes on and on. I think very few of us just learn it all on our own. We've got to be able to pull from the people who came before us, the teachers, the coaches, etc. And so that's number one, finding a person, and number two is finding a program, because you're not going to have 24 access to really anybody except for yourself, right? And so you can do as much as you can on your own time, and you need to do that. But if you don't have something to follow or something to do or the right blueprint, you could be wasting hundreds of hours on the wrong things. And that, to me, is one of the most scary things of all, right? And especially if it's something you're passionate about. If it's especially in my mind, when I zoom out and if anybody has the number one thing they want to do in life, which could be go from point A to point B, if that's of the utmost importance to them, man, it would just be so detrimental to be wasting time on anything other than getting you across the bridge. But how do you know? Right? How do you know if this thing is really going to work or not? How do you know if this is actually the best, most efficient way to go about doing things? Right? I can chop down a tree if I took a stick and hit it a million bazillion times. It would probably eventually fall down. Or I can get the proper tool, maybe get a chainsaw and cut it down in 20 minutes or whatever, right? And so having the right tools, doing things that are more efficient, saves you time, saves you energy, saves you the scars, right? And actually gives you the best chance to get there, because time is one of the most valuable things in life. You only have so much time. Nobody has unlimited time. And the older you get, the less time you have. But it is so crucial when you're evaluating your strategy going into something if you really are trying to go, again, from point A to point B. And so the program is essential. And again, this is for anything you're doing. Like, apply it to school. So you go into school, and let's say when you go into college, you start to enter a field that you want to get a job in. And now you start to understand those things, right? You really, you go from your 1 to 2 to 3, you start getting into classes that are more specific to you, to what you want to do. You're now only getting information that is of importance to you, of importance to your future job, career, industry, right? You start narrowing down, you start niching down on what it is that's going to really move the needle and get you there. And so as an athlete, being able to follow the program and understand what are all the things necessary to get to the next level. Is it just how fast I am? Is it just how strong I am? Is it just how good of a hitter I am? Or how good of a thrower I am? Or a fielder? Or is it maybe a combination of all of it? Do I have to be good at every single thing? Or can I be good at a couple things and be the best at them? And if you are the best in 1 or 2 things, better than everyone else, you're going to jump off the page. You're still going to be able to get to the highest level. That's when you look at any really, really successful person, whether it's an athlete or outside of it, they have at least one thing that really separates them and puts them in the less than 1%, right? And then there's also a category of people that they have versatility in a lot of things. And when you combine all of that versatility, that in itself puts them in a 1%. And so it depends what it is. There's totally, you have both ends. There's different things, but both can be really good and separate you. But the mentorship from a coach and the program that you can follow and do more on your own, and the combination of the two, from what I've witnessed, like just personally in my life, not making theory of it, making like a real observation of what I had gone through myself, that was the total difference maker. That just tripled, quadrupled the success rate to become the best that I could be. And so I had several coaches that had helped me out with tons of expertise that had already been there, right? Coaches that played at high levels. My father and the experience he had as a baseball player, as a businessman, and as a coach, stuff like that, things like that. When I got into pro ball and I got to learn from guys who played in the major leagues, right? Just again, talking about from point A to point B, I wanted to get to the major leagues, and I had an opportunity to get drafted by a major league organization and then learn from guys who were at my point B, right? And that they had literally been there, and so I can get feedback directly from the source. The value in that was just times 100 of figuring out on my own, or learning from somebody who hadn't been at point B, or following a program that did not really totally relate to my point B. And so you've got to get really specific and clear on that. I think that is just absolutely crucial. And again, to me, it just baffles me how many, the people that will go about something and just leave it to chance. If it's something that they're the most passionate about in their life, leaving it to chance with who they're learning it from, what program they're following, how much they're doing, the confidence they have in themselves, and trying something for the first time that they're not really even sure. Just kind of things that they maybe see other people do, other teammates do, watch online, watch on YouTube or whatever, and not totally understanding like the source that it's coming from. So ask yourself that question. Ask yourself, are you confident with where you're at? Are you confident with the path or plan for you right now going forward? Ask yourself, is it a plan that you created on your own? Ask yourself, is it a plan that you have figured out from coaches who have experience in that area? And again, this is anything. Like if you're trying to become the best writer in the world, you're going to have to learn from somebody who has tasted that at some level. If you want to become a great painter, if you want to become a great carpenter, a plumber, engineer, whatever it is that interests you, athlete, obviously, whatever it is that interests you, it's just so crucial to be able to pull information from sources that can relate to it and actually see and firsthand be able to experience it. And by no means does that mean it's going to be all figured out for you. Like there's going to be a high level of work included with that. There's going to be a lot of effort on your end, mentally and physically. and the being able to do that consistently too, not just here or there, like just being extremely disciplined on the game plan, on the passion to go from point A to point B. You know, being able to make things happen on your own and reaching out on your own, as opposed to like just waiting to hear it from somebody, waiting to be told from somebody. You know, I could make a whole separate video about that. But I'll leave it with that for today. If you have questions on this, reach out to me. Send me a message on Instagram, and if you're looking for somebody to help you out, I'll be glad to talk to you and see if it's something I can help you out with. But you know, I'm really passionate about going from point A to point B. I have things that I do in my personal life, and even now, at this stage that I'm at, outside of like I'm not playing baseball anymore, right? I got done playing 11 years ago now, and so I have other things that I'm trying to do personally to go from point A to point B. And I'm using the same process, right? I'm using the same process of finding people that can help me go from point A to point B, and then finding the education, whether that be through a program, something to follow, just a way to get the right knowledge on how I can better myself as well. And then combine the two, and you know, usually find that it gives you the best chance to cross that bridge. So I'll leave it with that. Like this, share this, subscribe it, and again, shoot me a message on Instagram. I'll put all that stuff below. And thanks for watching.